Steve, episode 12, Broadway block, back-to-back wins after back-to-back shutout wins. How are you feeling? 52 points, finally broke the 50 mark. How do you feel?
I mean, I don't want to say we called it, but we called it, man. We got the goalie right. We got the points right. These are really important games. We've been
Needed
saying
all
for
of them.
weeks. Needed all of them, man, and we're not getting really helped out by the rest of the league. Boston keeps winning. You had texted me something a week ago about maybe we don't catch the Bruins and maybe the Islanders kind of slip out a little bit, and that was an article I read today. So again, a little bit ahead of your time there, but it's seeming like the playoffs are still possible, but we need some help, man. Some of these teams got to start losing because everyone's winning, and we have a lot of good games to talk about. A lot of good performances.
It definitely, the first game opened up 3-0. You gotta love that. Uh, it was Booch's birthday. He got the hat trick that game, but it wasn't as close as the score led. Dev still had Sharon Govich, Subban, and a McLeod. Maybe that Subban goal doesn't happen if Keandre Miller doesn't screen Igor on that one, but it happened. So close game, pulled it out. Then we knew Gagorgiev was going to get the start Sunday. Got a little worried there at the end of the first. I guess he had tightness or something. He just didn't feel right. Igor came out, but was glad to see Gagorgiev was okay. Nico at the beginning of that game, the Devs came out fired up that Sunday game. I thought they were actually maybe going to give us a better run for our money, but Nico took a bad penalty on Kreider. We got the power play goal from Kreider on that. We got a Kravy goal that game. How great was seeing that Kravy goal, Steve?
You're absolutely right. They were fired up. Hughes was clearly emotional in the box, and I mean, if you're a team like that, like you have to pour a little bit of emotion into the game. And we, on the other hand, looked fired up in the beginning, like you mentioned, but almost caught flat-footed. We went from 10 block shots in the first period to being, that gritty team that we've been playing lately, to no block shots in the second period, which is when they started to turn things around. The two games were oddly similar, right? You jump out to those big 3-0, 4-0 leads, and then slowly let up a little bit. Even Adam Fox in the between the periods had sort of mentioned that how can you possibly play the same game when you're up 4-0, which it just seems like it's been true. To answer your question, the Kravy goal, man, his second, he even called it in the interview. That was really funny. Beautiful goal, no disputing that one. As soon as the puck was dropped to resume play, you knew it was official. But it was actually a great effort from Kravy to get the puck loose and spring it over to Howden to get then open. So completely Kravy's play from start to finish. And then for the rest of the game, he kept trying to return the favor and toss one back over to Howden. But nice to see a point from Howden. Obviously, Kravy gets his first, and it's a game he'll never forget.
We also had the really nice thing ever since Jacob Truba came back from injury. I know we've mentioned it before, but he was hitting everybody in New Jersey. If I was Bon Jovi that Sunday game, I would have had to watch out for Jacob Truba. He had 3 or 4 big hits. There was one play he was holding Nico with the one arm, and he was holding, I forget who he was holding, the other person there, but he was shooting from the blue line, coming up, making plays, keeping the puck in the offensive zone. So it was great to see Jacob Truba really coming in. Fox is doing well. Lindgren with that goal. He ever since that goal, I feel like he's been up shooting more, shooting first. So that's really been big for us. Gonna be hard to. It's great coming off these 4 wins, but we know we're going back to playing the Islanders. Almost, you want to say a real team coming up. That they definitely are a playoff team, and they want everyone to know. So they just went to overtime with Philly yesterday. So I think they're going to come out. It's an away game for us. I think it's on the island. So, their fans are going to come out fired up for them. But we got to win tomorrow night. It's a playoff hockey. We've been saying it for the last couple episodes, but every game's a playoff game basically for us. We need to win. So.
Well, one of the best records in the NHL for the last 10 games, and a interesting line from March 13th, we're the second highest scoring team in the league. So I agree with you to go off of your comment about Trouba. He's been excellent coming back from injury. And I know we had mentioned previously about what if with Panarin and Shesterkin missing all that time, but The band is back together. The boys are clicking, and it's the passing on the special teams has been a thing of beauty to watch, man. Some of those fake shots by Mika, it looked almost like the exact same play. He lifts up that left leg, almost leans onto the right like a Messier type shot, and just feeds it right across for a beautiful 1-2. So it's great to see the boys are humming and everybody's clicking. Kreider again scores in the power play, not an even strength goal in a couple weeks from Kreider. So
I
there
think
were
him and Booch are tied for the most goals on the team.
that, and Booch now is tied for second on shorthanded goals in the league. So
Wow.
not only is he playing well on the PK, which is now moved to second overall in the NHL, and our power play unit moving up to 16th overall in the NHL, but he's being rewarded on the scorebook for it as well. So
Well, I definitely think this is definitely a good team to be around. Definitely good group of guys in the locker room. Trouba really taking control of the locker room. Everybody stepping up for us here and there. And what can you say? Booch on his birthday, hat trick. Next night, Mika Zibanejad's birthday. Boom, game-winning goal. Like, there's got to be some kind of hockey luck that's following us where I got to say these games, they're going to pay off. I feel like we're going to catch somebody. Somebody's going to slip.
funny, the 4 games, these were great 4 games. Don't get me wrong. Funny though, interesting line. The only time in NHL history that a team has played during the regular season, the same team 4 times in a row and won all 4 games in a row. Very, very odd stat. Obviously, it's due to our condensed schedule and the league trying to monopolize where you are in the world and trying to make the travel a little bit less crazy. But interesting that that's the first time that's ever happened. And who do you go with against the Islanders? We had mentioned this last week, but coming off of those strong starts from Igor, I got to think it's Shesterkin.
I got to agree with you there, Steve. Not that Grigorgiev had a bad game. Like, yeah, there was a couple plays, like the Nico goal, I wish he could have back, but I got to say Igor's got to be in that. And then I think first game against the Flyers, you got to throw Igor out and see how he does. If he gets lit up, then you go back to Grigorgiev for I think it's a back-to-back on the Flyers series for us. I'm correct. But other than that, you got to have Igor out there.
Yeah, and meaningful games now for the Bruins, going up against surprisingly one of the better teams in the NHL recently. The Sabres are the 4th best team in the league since firing their coach. So these guys are playing more meaningful hockey. They seem to be a little bit more inspired. They're still without their number 1 player in Jack Eichel. And it's interesting to see them having a little bit of camaraderie and getting some games under their belts. And even the games that they're losing aren't losing by much. So if we could get a little bit of luck, they play the Sabres 3 times. If they could just win one of those, the Sabres that is, and if we could beat the Islanders, then we can maybe start making some headway on these teams. Because
didn't the Sabres beat the Pens last night?
Dude, it's fun it's fun to watch it, and everyone called this the hardest division in the league when the divisions were announced. Everyone called it the hardest, and everyone was sort of maybe leaving out the Sabres in that conversation, and they're I would say playing above their pedigree, if I'm honest. But you can see how tough it is with us being the 5th team in the league, and you got teams like the Sabres playing the spoiler role against teams like the Penguins and now hopefully the Bruins.
Yeah. Well, what can we say, Steve? We got to get this win.
Do I say it again, man? Most important stretch of the year. This is incredible that we're even in this conversation, and to play meaningful games down the stretch is all we wanted as fans. I'd be happy either way, but I feel like I'm getting my hopes up for these playoffs, man. I want to see it.
I feel like it's going to happen. Keep it up. All right. Thanks, Steve. That's episode 12 for us today. Everybody have a great day.
Let's go Rangers.
Let's go.